where rent-stabilized apartments are actually stabilized.
So that is Zohran Mamdani. He just won the Democratic primary for mayor of New York City. And he's talking about stabilizing the rent. In other words, like freezing the rent. So them telling you how much you can charge for the properties that you own. By the way, New York City already has rent stabilization. Over 1 million apartments in New York City are already stabilized. Yet the city still has sky-high prices, long wait lists, and crumbling buildings and deferred maintenance. Stabilizing prices actually deters new construction. Telling developers that they might be forced to stabilize prices is essentially a death sentence for supply. And here's one of the reasons why. So in 2024, for stabilized units, the rent increase cap was 2.75%, meaning you cannot increase the price of your rent on a one-year lease more than 2.75% higher than what it currently is. But here's the thing, in 2024, the operating cost on average for landlords increased by 12%. That's the average. So your operating costs go up by 12%, but you can only raise your prices by like 2.5% to 3%. Those numbers don't make sense for people who actually want to make money. So what happens? It hurts the quality of housing. It becomes harder and harder for owners to be able to pay for maintenance because they can't raise their prices to keep up with their costs. There's also no financial incentive to renovate properties. Because in a typical market, you can renovate your property and then you can charge more for it. When they control how much you can raise your rents, that incentive gets destroyed. So then you end up with dilapidated buildings and crappy buildings that tenants don't want to live in. So to keep it simple, it disincentivizes people from building new housing while also disincentivizing people to renovate properties because, again, they can't charge more for them, by also making it harder for owners to actually be able to afford the maintenance that is required for their properties. It's very likely if he wins, his policies will just make New York's housing crisis worse. But he also said this later. This caught my attention.
And it's where the mayor will use their power to reject Donald Trump's fascism, to stop mass ICE agents from deporting our neighbors.
Well, I would love for him to explain how he's going to stop ICE agents from deporting illegal immigrants. He doesn't have the power to do that. He has the power to order, local law enforcement and whatnot to not cooperate with ICE, but they have no power to stop them. That would quite literally be obstruction. So it kind of seems like he's just talking out the side of his neck. If he wins and he tries to stop ICE from doing their job, they should arrest him for obstruction. Local law does not supersede federal law. And he should not be allowed to make people believe that a local mayor can stop ICE from doing their job.